The Wheel of Destiny.
We're live, Dr. Art.
We're into it. It's Wednesday again.
It is Wednesday.
Oh.
Did you see that? You hit the table and it didn't go out. That's all the new technology that we've employed here.
Yes.
It's good. Look, I'm using a colored ring light now. So
to give us a nice fleshy glow. Yes.
Right. Actually, now you look pretty pale.
Here, let's do that.
Oh.
Boris, that's okay.
And it's Mexican Spec is the first in the house.
First in the house.
Hello, Mexican Spec.
Everyone else is lazy.
We already got 3 thumbs up. That's very cool.
That is cool.
Yes. But that's it. Now it's stalled. Now there's
no, that's it. It's over.
So what's new and exciting, Dr. Art?
New and exciting. So far as videos, nothing. But
there's always a but.
There's always a but or a book when I don't have a book. But I'm a dealer for Ace's Fuel Injection.
Ace's Fuel Injection? Oh my God!
So anyone with fuel injection needs, go to the website. There's stuff on there. And if you got questions, there's my email on there. Get a hold of me. I can get you a damn nice price on this stuff.
That's incredible. I never thought there would actually be. I would sit next to an Ace's Fuel Injection distributor.
It is rare. It is distributor. Yes.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Somebody had to do it, and I happened to get it.
Yep. And now Chris Freemesser, Eric's Garage, Interdimensional Lizard. Yes! I knew you'd make it. Greasy Garage, Paul Cabazzola, Nathan McCree, Fun with Cars, Fubar! You should send Fubar one of them fuel injection systems. Just because. Yes. Joe Kaplan, we said the Fun with Cars. Hello, everybody. Terrence Seymour. Bruce W. We were 72 minutes from world ending. When were we 72 minutes from the world ending?
74 minutes ago, probably. Yeah, elaborate on that, sir.
Yeah, elaborate on that, Bruce.
We'll talk about that.
Rodney Turner, Carnitas won. What's going on, Carnitas?
It's Carnitas or Carnitas? Yeah,
Carnitas. Mexican Spec says, time to find another co-host. He represents fuel injection now.
I don't represent fuel injection. I just take money from people who want fuel injection.
Listen, I don't discriminate. I don't use this stuff myself, but if somebody else wants to, knock yourself out.
Right. Would you feel better if I just sold weed? Could do that too.
Does OW mean zero viscosity? Yes.
Yes, it means it's super thin and has no resistance to flow.
It has no matter. It's just the idea of oil.
Theoretical oil is
it's a holographic representation of oil.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Holman, it's good to have you here, Josh.
Yes.
I want to know about the 72 minutes from the world ending.
Yeah.
Yes, virtual oil.
It's like blinker fluid.
Yes.
Virtual oil.
Engineer in hickory striped hat. I'm more of a Lunkenheimer mixer kind of guy.
Yeah, okay.
I wonder if if he came to the right channel.
Sure. I think a Lunkenheimer mixer is some kind of, fuel contraption, so.
Travis Moore, will there ever be a room temperature superfluid to replace oil?
Well, if it was room temperature, it wouldn't last very long in an engine, would it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Be nice. They probably have this shit. That's it's up in the UFOs that the people fly. We just don't have access.
They work off of gravity.
I know, but there's still some kind of cooling or mechanism or something in that thing that's got to have some kind of superfluid so it doesn't explode into.
I don't know about any sort of liquids.
You don't think there's?
I don't think it's a conventional like the way we would think of a. I think what they're doing is that they're converting gravity, magnetism, and having it work against itself. Like you take two magnets, you put them pole to pole, they repel each other.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're using some way of gravity manipulation to cause the pole. Like for instance, like if the gravity has X value and you can create a polar opposite of X value, you would automatically
be levitating
or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any liquids involved.
There's always liquids involved.
Well, at some point, yeah, you do eventually come to a liquid. This is true. This is true with everything. BMW 1 Series. Good evening, BMW from Denmark.
T pissed off Chevy. Yes, finally got this guy live. Hello.
One pissed off Chevy. Yes. Yeah. Nice to see you, one pissed off Chevy.
Yes.
Eric's Garage. What's a good floor shifter for a 904 regular valve body with a Torqueflite 2 kit ratchet? I use those cheap B&M ratchet shifters. I've been using them in like everything for a while now. They're the cheapest things out there. When it comes to automatic shifter, really, how elaborate does it need to be? It's got to go click. It's got to go click. And as long as there's some sort of ratcheting mechanism or some sort of positive stop, does that make any sense? I see people spend like $700 on a friggin' automatic shifter.
Why? I mean, if it's like an air shifter and you're timed and you're, fine. But like in the Ranger, I just use a winter shifter, which is kind of like a B&M, just with a different cover on it, and it's.
When I was a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a '69 Charger, and I had before I converted it to 4-speed, I was like 16 years old, or 17 years old, and before I converted it to 4-speed, I had an automatic in it. But when I got the car, the interior was gutted.
Okay.
All right. So I made a shifter out of a weed eater. What's that thing you push and
push mower
spreads the seeds.
A spreader.
The seed spreader.
Okay.
There was one of those in the garbage.
Okay.
And there was a lever on there with a rod, just to open and close the mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, okay, well, I have zero money and I can make a shifter out of this shifter. So I did. And I didn't have an ability to weld or anything like that. So I just drilled holes and everything. So now I put it in the car and it worked as a shifter. There was enough of a detent in the transmission that, click, 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 click.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no way for me to like accurately go from first to second. So I took a bolt and I bent the bolt into like an elbow shape and I drilled a hole in the floor, bolted the bolt in there, so it went across. And now when you went from first to second, it would hit the bolt. And then to shift from second to third, you would move around the bolt and just click it forward and it would go into third gear.
Okay.
So now I don't really see much of a need beyond that.
There's not.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
So you ask about what automatic shifter you should use. There's my answer.
And if it's not a race car, it's a daily cheapest you can get. Go to. What I use for a long time is all the little Ford ones you get in everything from a Pinto to a Mustang to the little floor ones.
Yeah.
And they just got the little arm on it, and you make a little arm with a couple little hinds and click. And
well, that's really what this weed eater shifter, the seat spreader.
Just go basic. Just yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
What do we miss? Bear Rose is here somewhere. Yeah, Bear Rose. Hello, everybody. Yeah, he's here.
Well, what's going on, Bear Rose? And then he stole it from a local school. I stole lots of things from school, but not the shifter. Pistol Chevy. As long as the shifter doesn't have, I stole a bus.
Yeah.
As long as the shifter doesn't have the durability of wet cardboard, you're good. It's an automatic shifter. Mm-hmm. How durable does it have to be? Click, click. That's it. That's all we're gonna do. Click, click. I lose a lot of respect for people when I see an automatic shifter. Now, don't get me wrong, right? A manual transmission, yes, I expect to see a good shifter because it is important, a very important thing.
Yeah.
I lose respect for people. The higher the value shifter I see, the less respect I have for the. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, especially if it's you're not in something high dollar. It's just your car.
I don't care if it's $1 billion car. I don't care if it's like the most elaborate, crazy hot rod that's ever been built. If you spent more than $150 for the shifter in an automatic, I've lost respect for you.
Read Anthony Davis.
So I see in-car camera stuff, right?
Yeah.
Of people running street outlaw level cars.
Yeah.
Right. and they have these crazy like $800 shifters.
Air shifted and everything.
No, manual shifting them.
Okay.
And it's like bang, bang, right? And it's like, can you not control yourself? Is this the first time you've been in a fast car? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't just go click,
Mm-hmm.
click. I don't get it. I just don't get it. 2 hacks. Jeff is in the house. What's happening,
going on,
brother?
buddy? He's got his dragster ready. He put.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he put 2 methanol 2-barrel like carburetors on it.
Okay.
And so I thought that was a pretty neat setup.
Has he run it yet?
He's had it fired up and stuff like that.
Okay,
I don't know if Jeff, I think he was going to try to take it to No Name and run it there to get some laps on it.
Okay.
I believe. I could be wrong. I haven't talked to him in about a month and a half or so. So just watching his posts and stuff like that.
Brawler 1997. What's the IOB for a 73 Charger 340? I'm going to say 800 RPM in neutral.
Yeah.
That should be about right. Yes, Jeff is racing this weekend. Good luck with that, brother.
That'd be cool to see. I want to see that video because that's going to be how that thing.
Yeah.
Because at Sykeston sometimes is not the best prep track and in a slingshot. Woo!
Oh, he's going to. Dude, your first ride in a slingshot is going to be so surreal. You're going to be like, oh my God. My favorite part though with the slingshot is like not even making the run, but like slowing down, like, okay, because it's like you watch the motor dip, the motor in the front end dip, and you go up, and then you go down, and the motor in the front end goes up, just like going down the return road. It's fun. It's fun. Dennis Gallier, I like your breakdown of Marvel Mr. O. Thank you, sir. Roger Wilson, any thoughts on old school castor bean oil? You mean like for a 2-stroke? Chris Cadman, hello Tony, I got my 2025 KTM 300 2-stroke legal for the streets. Silly fun. That has got to be a riot.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible enough to have something like that.
Zero
in the house. What's happening, brother man? Rick from New York. Greetings from Rockland County.
Let's see what's Kevin got here. Good evening, Ram 318. I gotta get the glasses out.
Oh, okay. Good evening. 97 Ram 318. We're changing to a cooler thermostat and reduced gas mileage. How would I change the computer to compensate, or can I?
At a 97, it's not gonna. It doesn't care that much.
No, because the coolest you're going to drop that down to is about 170 degrees, maybe 170. Like I said, like if you put a 170 stat in there, right, you probably see like 180. But by that point, the cool and temp sensor has already leaned the thing out. So yeah, you're going to, regardless of how far back you bring the thermostat, the temp sensor.
It's already passed.
It's already past that, so it's not going to make any difference. You'd probably end up hurting performance.
Right. Just peel the computer out of it, send it to me. I'll put some nice tune on it for
Or
you.
you can put a tune on it for you.
Then you have you'll have a 97 Dodge Ram 318 that'll just boil the tires. It will.
Paul Cavazzolo, how did your 727 build work out? I built that transmission years ago. I just haven't done the valve body. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Miles the mechanic. Question. I'm building a 2.8 V6 from a 93 S10. Edelbrock makes a cam for it, but their page implies I need to get their intake manifold. Will my stock manifold be okay? Well, that's a good question. First off, I don't know anybody who's ever done anything performance-wise on a 2.8. That's a little 60-degree V6.
Yeah, the only one I've seen was a guy named JB from JB's Little Shop. He got his hands on a little blower for it.
Okay.
And he, built the bottom end and got a little blower with a little 500 CFM little 2-barrel Holly on top of it and stuff like that. And it runs pretty good.
Okay. So
I don't know about the intake though.
yeah, miles. I don't know. There has to be. I mean, okay, obviously they're going to try to sell their own parts. I honestly don't know enough about those intake manifolds. I'm familiar with the engine. I've worked on them, like, regular.
Billions of them.
Yeah, but there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. But I don't know what it is, bro.
Call them up and see what their reason is.
Yeah, or search online for other people who've done 2.8 V6s and ask them, what experiences they had.
Mm-hmm.
Remedy Cabal, is there any advantage to swapping exhaust manifolds from a 75 400 four barrel onto a 67 3D3 two barrel? Yeah, the 70. Yes, that actually is a better exhaust manifold. The 75 400 HP manifolds, they're super heavy. But yes, the 67 3D3 two barrel just has a regular conventional log manifold, and that 75 400 four barrel has a much bigger. It's close to the original, the 1967 and up HP exhaust manifold. Not quite, but close enough. Yes, I think there would be an advantage. Not a huge advantage. It's not like you're going to bolt these things on and like, oh, my car does wheelies and the paint burns off the nose. It's not going to be anything like that.
It'll just breathe a little better.
It'll breathe a little bit better. Yeah. What's on the? Yes, very good. What's on the 2B says check out the Fiero crowd on the 2.8.
Yeah.
Excellent suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent suggestion. Let's see. Eric Swenson, what was the first year of factory roller cam Mopars? 1986, I believe, on the 360.
Yeah, the Magnum. Yeah.
Pre-Magnum.
Pre-Magnum?
Pre was still on the LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was 1986, 1987 for the 360, and then 1988 for the 318 for the pre-Magnum engines. Carnitas.
Yeah, I was going to just say that. Yeah.
72 satellite now has a cam, air gap manifold, Holley carb. Can you recommend a cheap kickdown linkage solution? I lost the original parts. Dude, I see people use the low car stuff all the time. I don't recommend it because it doesn't last, right? It's cheap, flimsy, it's cheap, it stretches, it gets all weird and stuff like that. But that is like that's what I would use until I could fabricate a stock style kickdown linkage for it. If you just want to drive the car, spend a couple of dollars, get the low car set up, stick it on there, but be prepared to replace it with an honest kickdown linkage setup.
Yeah, hit the swap meets. I got real lucky when I had to find a kickdown for the truck. There happened to be just one in the junkyard that I had to peel off of.
Yeah,
that's a rare thing. You don't find a lot of LAs in the junkyard anymore.
Yeah, this stuff is out there. You just got to find it. Rob's Classic. I never felt the 2.8 feel as good as a 4.3. But there's a little bit of a size difference, no?
It's a whole different, yeah. Almost double the size, yeah.
Mark Sylvia is saying the 4.3 is a sort of 350. I thought it was a sort of 305. Could be wrong. I was always under the impression it was a 305. Wait, how would that work? 4.3, 4. Oh yeah, you might be right. All right.
Yeah.
Bruce W. I went from a Chinese air gap to a port match performer on my 360 Magnum with the 209 217 roller cam. 209 217. That's a small cam.
Yeah.
600 Holley goes great. How does a manifold flow RPM range work from 273 to 360? Jeez, I don't know, Bruce. I'm not really.
I think he's wording that a little bit.
Can you
Are you looking for like an RPM range or something, Bruce, or because just elaborate a little bit more?
Chris Cadman, why are small tire guards going so fast? Technology.
Mm-hmm.
Zero saying 262 cubic inches, 4.3. I've had 3. So does that make it a 350 or 305? Zero. And Fubar just put up a link to my merch.
Nice.
Oh my God! Yes, we need to sell merch.
And you put Fubar put up my merch also, which
what kind of shirt am I wearing?
you got internal combustion because I.
Oh jeez, you guys can have that shirt cheap.
You can have this one. I got a couple cheapy ones on the website, and right now there's 2 extra larges.
I'll bet you my shirts are cheaper than yours.
My production ones are $24, no shipping.
I don't even know how much.
You don't even know. You don't even know how much yours are.
I don't know. Only Kathy Bananas keeps track of all of that. But thank you, Fubar, for putting up the link to our merch. 72 Z3AP standing up is a fantastic shirt. Yes, everybody should have 5 of them. You need 1 for every business day of the week. Don't wear it to church.
You don't go to church.
I know I don't. But Kathy does, for both of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She goes twice.
Actually, yeah, she does. She goes like once during the week, and then she goes like on Sunday. So yeah, she goes for both of us.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's awful nice of her.
Eric Swenson, yes. Thank you for doing the math.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 350. Okay. Bob's Chop Shop, the 3.9 V6 is a sort of 318. Yes, it is.
Roman Cabell, do you run a Ford Ranger? Yep. A red one with a big turbo engine in it.
With an LS motor in.
Yeah.
What's on? I'm pretty sure the 3.8 229 was a sort of 305.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Tiger 707, do you set total timing with vacuum advance connected or not?
Not.
No. Never. And honestly, now, if you're tuning for total timing, okay, so if you're in that league now where you're really working for performance, okay, and you're tuning for total timing, there's no vacuum. Just take the vacuum line off of that, because what's going to happen is you're going to set for total timing, and then you can put a vacuum, unless you have an adjustable vacuum advance. What's going to happen is the car will run fantastic, okay, at low RPM and accelerating, but as soon as you level up for a cruise at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour like that, it's going to sound like shit. It's going to bang, 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 bang. And as soon as you give it gas, you touch the throttle, it'll smooth right out. That's a sign that you've got too much vacuum advance. So if you're tuning from the aspect of going for total advance, then just leave the vacuum advance disconnected unless you have an adjustable vacuum advance, in which case you can limit how much. And what you would want to do then is, after you've set the timing for total advance, you want to take it up for a ride. Let's say you get up to 60 miles an hour, cruise, and you want to keep bringing the vacuum advance back, reducing it until you get a smooth cruise. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Or if you're just setting initial timing, just disconnect it, set your 10 degrees, and
plug
it back in and go. Yeah.
Well, the question he was asking was about setting for total timing.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. Sorry.
Zero saying I've had 4 S10s, but only mentioned 3 because they had 4.3. No 89s. I had a slammed 86 when I moved down here. What was it, 85? I know, it was 85 or 86 when I moved down here. I had a slammed S10 that I loved that truck. The only problem with that thing, man, was bumps. It was like riding a hardtail chopper. I mean, it was like you hit anything. But I loved that thing. I loved the way it handled. I loved everything about it. Wheelie King, Tony just wanted to bolster your plug for John Cope. Hareel is the man. I have lots of stuff around. His stuff around here, just awesome. Yes, and he always sends Tootsie Rolls. You buy anything from him, and you get Tootsie Rolls.
Nice.
Corey Slusher, thoughts on ZDDP for a 72 Ford 429 daily driver? Use a light diesel oil, right? Like
Delaware.
the Delvac,
Yeah.
or oh God, why can't I think of one? It's the one I use. I can't think of what it is.
Oh, the one with all the bottles on the shelf.
Oh no. Oh my God! See, this is the first sign of like total mental decay.
I know. I'll be back to keep you from your head exploding.
Well, it's not just the stuff that's on the walls there.
No. It's not maxed up.
Look at the shelf right behind my head here. There should be a gallon of it up there.
All right.
I don't believe this. I'm still.
Rotella!
Rotella! Shell Rotella, yes. I've only mentioned it in 10,000 freaking videos. I've only been using it for like ever, right? And yes, Shell
It's good
Rotella.
stuff. Yes, I agree.
72C20 Rotella sounds like it should be the name of a pasta noodle.
It should be.
It is an Italian. Oh no, it's Jamie. Jamie's in the house. Dead Dodge Garage.
What's going on, Jamie? Yeah, I was just talking to Jamie earlier.
We were just
today.
talking about you, man.
Yeah.
Bruce W. Manifolds have an RPM range idle to 5,500 RPM, but the same manifolds can fit a 273, 360, which still flow enough to keep the 360 to 5,500. The performer intake, so they make a small port performer intake for the 273, 318 cylinder head, and they make one for the 340, 360 head. Which one do you have?
He said something about air gap, but he didn't say which one.
He switched from the air gap to a performer.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it depends on which performer you
got. Abel D. Tony, regarding your last transmission video, when do you resort to Lucas transmission additive as an upgrade for its stock transmission? I don't. I never use any additives. Transmission fluid. Done. That's it.
Yeah, because if you're having to add thicker fluid to your transmission, it's on the way out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's the thing, okay? It's a trade-off. So let's just say, for example,
you porch match the 318 performer to the mag heads. So there's your answer. It's the 318. It's the smaller.
I think it'll work to 5,500, no problem.
Yeah. With a small cam that he's got.
With the small cam and all that, I think you're fine. You're good.
Yeah, you'll have good throttle response. You'll keep the port velocity up.
Yeah. That's what he said is exactly right. It keeps the port velocity high. What you may give up a little bit on the top end, the outer limits of, you're going to pick up at the lower end. So with velocity. So the thing is like you can throw a quart of engine oil in your transmission, right? And it will firm up the shifts. You're thickening up the fluid, and so it'll firm up the shifts. But it will also lower your stall speed at the same time, right? So anything you do to firm up shifts is from a liquid standpoint is going to have an adverse effect on the stall.
Because you're putting the same thicker fluid through the turbine and the converter, and it's going to grab harder. That's why the racer guys, they always like to run the ATF to loosen up that converter as much as possible.
Wheelie King, less and more people need transmission fluid equals high detergent, 10-weight hydraulic fluid with red dye, period, the end. You are absolutely right.
Yep. And I was referring to before you could buy any converter you wanted for any car. Back in the 80s and stuff like that. I need stall speed. Well, put some Type F in it.
David James, Ford, 97, third kicking out of overdrive. I don't know what that means.
Where do you see that?
David James, Ford, 97, third kicking out of overdrive. A little more elaborate, David.
Yeah, if it's
he's a Ford guy.
Yeah, if it's kicking out of overdrive, it's
I imagine it's an AOD.
It's an AOD. Yeah, it's time to open it up and put a new band in it. Yeah.
Sunflow, great vids, guys. Thank you. Helping me fix up my 77 F-150. Still idles a little funny and bogs down when you give it gas. Give it timing. Bump the timing up.
Give it a couple degrees.
Yeah, give it a couple of degrees, and it should wake it right up. Chris Cadman, I purchased an original blue. I lost you, Chris. A blue and cream T150 Bonnie barn find for $2,500, and she runs. The seats will turn to dust if I sit on it. Paint perfect. Nice. Amyl carbs and all of that. You got to tickle them. Yeah. Those. You're not a motorcycle guy, so you're not familiar with that.
No.
Those old British carbs, the carburetors, had a tickler on them.
Did a what?
A tickler.
Oh, well, for the fuel or
to tickle it? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a button on the side of the carburetor. When you pressed the button, you pushed the float down, and it would overflow the carburetor, just to fatten it up enough to fire up.
Oh, okay. For starting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My weed whacker's got one of them things, little primer.
Yeah. Well, but it's not called a tickler.
No.
Yeah.
It's not a. Well, we'll go past that.
But I watch young guys trying to start old bikes all the time, and it's like, check. Did you tickle it? And they look at you. You know what I mean? You're like, no. Then you go over, you press the button for them. Yeah, do this. Carnitas, how much cam can a 318 take with stock valve train? Is a 268, 280 decent? Gross lift 477. That's a very mild cam, and
you'll be fine.
Extremely mild cam, and you can go up to 5. No, a little bit different now, okay? But you can go between 525 and 500,000 lift, 550 lift, 5.25, 550 lift, because at that point the retainer hits the top of the valve guide, and that's not a problem if you want to go higher, but you got to pop the valve springs off and take a grinder to the top of the guides.
I just took off those factory little hard valve seals and put in the umbrella types, and it gives you another like 10,000.
That too, but that's not really enough. If let's say you want to go to 600 lift cam.
No. But if you're getting close, you can do that. But no, you're fine. The stock springs will be fine for that.
And Zero just put up a link to Jamie's channel, Dead Dodge Garage. So if you guys, the best Mopar channel on all of YouTube, probably one of the best automotive channels on YouTube, period. Dead Dodge Garage, and Zero just put the link there.
And he's got a lot of cool stuff. You'd be like, oh, I want that, or I want. He's always got. The next day is always something cool.
Yep. Let's see. Judge Fett, 92 Daytona IROC RT 2.2 turbo, dry rot on timing belt. Worried about timing issues.
Yeah.
Change it.
Yeah.
Yes. First of all, it's not an interference engine. So if the timing belt does let go, no, it's not going to hurt your engine. But why? Why screw around with it? Change the timing belt.
Timing belts are time change anyway. It's not. Yeah, it's just change it, and that's cheap.
Yeah, I used to be able to do the timing belt on those things in like 45 minutes, soup to nuts.
And go to the Chrysler store and get one, because any timing belt you probably would get at O'Reilly's is probably going to suck, in my opinion.
Aux Auto. What was the difference between the cam on a regular 69 383 and Plymouth Roadrunner 383? Advertising literature. That was the difference. That's it. Let's see. Rob's Classics. Man, I have a Tri-5 and you guys are making me miss my Mopars. Well, you can throw a Mopar engine in it. That was a thing back in the day. A couple of guys would do that.
Or just drop your Tri-5 off at my house and go buy something.
There was a
Makes you feel bad.
There was a story that predates me, right? It goes back to like the very early 1960s, middle 1960s, on Fountain Avenue, which was like in Brooklyn. It was like one of my stomping grounds. But before, when I was a little kid, there was a 55 Chevy that a guy had thrown a Max Wedge engine in that owned that area for a while. So, you know. Wheeler King, my dad had the head gasket down to 75 minutes, man. Yeah. I would change so many of those. Let's see. What did he say about Keats belts?
No, I missed it.
Oh, okay. Jamie is saying they're all right.
Oh, okay. Dang customers getting in the way while trying to listen to this live. That's right, Mark. Just get rid of them. You don't need customers.
Scooter Dogmass. Dogmass. I'm sorry, bro. I'm killing your name. Love the Dynodon 5-speed clutchless idea, but that transmission never really developed into anything. Dude, Nicholson never had developed any sort of 5-speed. I think. Let's see. Well, I don't know if it was a Nash or a Lenko that he was messing with there, but no, Nicholson himself never developed a 5-speed. Travis Moore, what do you think? Garage 54 putting water and hydrogels in tires to make them run flat tires. I haven't seen it.
He was doing something with a torque converter on a clutch car too. I'd seen the thumbnail for that. I just didn't have time to ever watch it this week.
Garage 54, I love that channel, but it's one of those channels that I save up for a while and I binge watch. So it's like I won't watch it for a couple of months and it builds up, and then I'll sit there like for a whole evening and I'll just binge watch Garage 54. But no, I haven't seen those episodes yet.
Did you? Well, this one here. Did you fellas catch the last episode of the Grand Tour?
I have not.
That's. I think we were talking about that last week because I watched it. It's very good.
Is it?
It's. I mean, it's kind of their best one because it's kind of the same shtick, but it's produced very well and it's very pleasurable to watch and everything. So I'm like, oh, this is why all my videos suck because this is what people can watch instead. That's why it gets 80 million views and I get not as many. But yeah, it was. I enjoyed it.
I watched the first season or two of it, first season, and I was like, yeah, this is just recycled Top Gear, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of them were phone-ins, but this last one, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not going to knock it because I haven't seen it, but
yeah,
if you say it was good,
it's good.
Then I may watch it this evening when I go home. Greasy Garage, did that Tri-5 meet an ugly end? Reminds me of one in an accident years ago. Thing was fast and ended fast. This is like out of the darkest, deepest, cobweb riddled recesses of my memory. But I don't know. End of time, Garage 54 is our future. Wouldn't be a bad thing if it was, man. Would not be a bad thing if it was. I have nothing but the most respect for those guys. They do stuff that they do what we should be doing. You know what I mean? Like there's no fear with anything. They just dive in there. Oh, I want to try a 5-cylinder engine. They make themselves a 5-cylinder engine. I want to make a C3 engine. They make themselves a C3 engine. Let's see what all of the pistons will do if we do this. And they make a crankshaft and they make this and they make that. Those guys are phenomenal. They are what we should all aspire to. Let's see. Ken Gray, 66 Charger. Did you
Remove, I think.
remove the headlight motors? No, I just loosened them. I just loosened them and I just roll them. But eventually I'll get around to fixing them. I took that car to Mo Party the other day.
On my Cougar, they got the same kind of hideaway headlights. There's all those vacuums and archaic and hoses and stuff. Took all that out, and there's a big metal plate between the grill and the headlights for some reason, and the thing weighs like 5 pounds. So you take that out of there, and you could just the grill's open then, so you just leave it down all the time and turn on the headlights and drive.
Yeah, I like the way it looks when it's down.
Yeah.
So and then it gets dark. I get out of the car. I roll the headlights up. Boom, headlights. Sean 806 heard about Thunderhead 289 did with a lawnmower carburetor and a 432. Yes, he put a lawnmower carburetor.
And get 40 miles a gallon.
Right. He made a controlled vacuum leak is what he's done. Let's see. Joe K is saying Garage 54 will build it. UTG will analyze it, and then Whistle and Diesel will destroy it. Ultimate Massive. You guys ever watch Rob Dam? It's not everyone's cup of tea, but he's doing cool stuff at Rotaries. I just saw a couple of videos pop up, right? I didn't know that in World War I they were using rotary engines in fighter planes.
Really?
The Sopwith Camel
Well,
had a rotary engine.
Were they radial or rotors?
Says rotary.
Rotary?
Yeah, and there's no, when you look at the plane, because that was the first thing I thought.
Mm.
It's like, okay, well, so they mean radial, but they said rotary. No.
The cylinders actually spin around, yeah.
But you can't see the cylinders, like on a rotary engine.
Yeah.
On a radial engine, the cylinders are all sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On this thing, no, nothing. You saw nothing. It was all under the bodywork of the.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Does anybody else know what I'm talking about there? Palmer Nesbitt is saying spinning rotors, not Wankel rotary. Okay, now please educate me or us because
The radial cylinders would spin, and that's how the engine ran.
Radial that spins, he's saying.
Yeah.
So that's what they mean by rotary on those? Because I guess this was all new to me. I just saw a video the other day, and it sounded insane. Chris is saying the crankshaft is stationary. The engine spins around the crankshaft. And Peter Palmer Nesbitt saying it's a two-stroke engine that the crank is static. Okay, thank you. I didn't know. Like I said, I saw this clip pop up, and I was like, rotary? And I clicked on it, and they had one of these planes. I guess I had it tied off, so it couldn't take off. And the guy was buzzing it, and it sounded really unusual. So, okay, thank you. Thanks for the education on that. James McManus, are Edelbrock carburetor rebuild kits you buy from Amazon any good? Yeah, bro, there's very little that goes. I mean, you're going to change the needle. The only parts that those carburetors that wear is the needle and seat assembly and the accelerator pump. And yeah, they're fine.
I mean, as long as you clean out the things good, they're okay.
If you've never done an Edelbrock carburetor before, then go back and watch some of the Edelbrock carburetor rebuild videos we've done, because there are tips in there that if you don't know them and you're dealing with a carburetor that is got a shady history, trust me, go back, search on my channel here, Edelbrock carburetor rebuild, and follow.
Yeah, you got them, I got them. Yeah.
Wheelie King, I believe, is actually called a radial. No, man, a radial engine is where they have the pistons all sticking out in a circle. Okay, they're all right. No, this is different. Short 806. I know you made a video about the 100 to 200 mile per gallon carburetor. Only that way that would really be possible is if you had some sort of hybrid system along with a lawnmower carburetor. No,
Yeah.
it's not possible. It can't. First off, there isn't that much heat energy in. Again, when you're talking about a car engine, right? Because you can get 100 miles to the gallon with an old motorcycle. But I have a little Honda Super Cub that spits out 100 miles to the gallon like it's nothing. But we're talking about a car, right? No, there isn't. There just period isn't enough energy in a gallon of gas to move a 3,500 pound car through the atmosphere and get that. It's just not going to happen.
No matter how hot you make the fumes and things
Right.
and try to do X and Y, it just,
Right.
the math just isn't there.
You raise efficiency to a point with high vaporization rates, but the higher the vaporization rate, the lower the power output of the engine. So you reach a point of diminishing returns. And this is if you look at anybody who's messed around with vapor carburetors, that's exactly what the problem that they come across. There's a point of diminishing returns. More vapor equals greater efficiency, more vapor, greater efficiency, and then it stalls out, and then the lack of power starts to offset that. So you top out at like 50 miles in a gallon, and then starts working its way backwards. So yeah, it's Smokey came close with a turbocharged. He did all kinds of shit, and it still it works on paper, but it doesn't work in real life.
Yeah. And Shadow Ops, to answer your question, yes. You know how to get a hold of me. Whatever you need for that truck, we'll figure it out for you.
Adam Ballinger, Stanley Meyer made a water engine, drove her from New York to Los. No, he didn't. That's an old wives' tale. It did not happen. No.
He was a good flim flam guy.
Yes.
He was a good Elon Musk of his day.
Yes.
But
it did not happen.
Didn't happen.
You can run an engine on water, but it has to be processed so you're extracting the hydrogen from the water, which takes its own energy level, its own energy to do that. But then the volume of hydrogen you need to effectively move a car, to create enough power to move a car down the road, is
immense.
Yes, you would need to have like a swimming pool attached to the car with like a Tesla coil tower, like zapping it constantly
to run the membrane to get enough fuel.
Right, to get enough fuel to just go down your freaking driveway. So that's the problem with that.
Now there are like things like fuel cell augmented,
yes,
battery and gas vehicles, but completely just hydrogen fuel cells. They do exist, but they're very heavy and they're not that efficient.
Felix, I believe he called his project the adiabatic engine. Yes, I did a whole video on that. Go back and search it. I did a whole video on that. I did a few videos on that. I got into a piston contest with this moron that had a turbocharged 305 Camaro. That please, been there, done it, right? Joe K. Tony, being the case regarding diminishing returns on efficiency, has the internal combustion engine reached an optimization point, and that's why hybrids and electric cars are trying to become the next thing? Okay, the problem isn't the efficiency, and there isn't even a problem. I don't know where people say there's a problem. The issue, not problem, but the issue, as far as internal combustion engine efficiency, is not really efficiency of the engine. The engines are extremely efficient. It's the inefficiency of the cars. They weigh too much. There's too much rolling resistance. There's just too much weight, right? If we got back to building reasonably sized cars, reasonably weighted with, efficiency would square root itself. But that's the problem. It's everything the internal combustion engine is asked to do today is they're overworked.
Because everybody wants an SUV and everybody wants to not hear anything and have 25 zillion gadgets. You took a K car. Okay, we've talked about this. Take out that K car engine, which was good for its day, and put in one from today without all the government restrictions on it, and you'd have 60 miles per gallon.
Easy.
But nobody wants to drive a a small car that you can, hear the outside world in, because God forbid you're in the world.
Palmer Nesbitt saying you can use electric coils and salt water to generate hydrogen and oxygen. Yes, but how much? It's volume. You need a volume of it. I can fly PPG. Tony, why do you hate EVs so much? I don't. I make that disclaimer every time I do a video on that stuff. I do not hate EVs. I have no problem with EVs. And if my lifestyle, let's say, would be complemented by one, I would have one. If I lived in a city and I had to make like short commutes and stuff like that, right? Yeah, I would have one. I have no problem with EVs. My problem is with forced legislation. The whole, I just have to be careful how I word things, because it's easy to get the atmosphere change scam, okay? And all of the grift that goes with that, and all of the nonsense legislation being forced down everybody's throat. That's what I have a problem with, not with electric vehicles.
It's the brainwashing of the sheep of the world.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Because, some of the first cars I loved were electric. The little slot cars, when you're 7 years old, and it's fantastic.
That's great. And Zero saying nuclear plants are zero carbon, but we close them. I know, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's all a friggin' scam. And I think most people realize that at this point. And that's why you see less and less of it now.
Right, because a nuclear power plant can run for 80 years, and there's no money in building new nuclear power plants because they run for 80 years. But you can build windmills till your nuts fall off, Yeah, the more money.
Well, the media did a great job of making everybody afraid of nukes, right? 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, and also the nonsense. So Chernobyl, I know the accidents there. I get it, right? But you know what? Go to Chernobyl right now, and like, there's no people there, but there's dogs and bunnies and trees, and everything's just like freaking normal.
Yeah.
Let's see. Huge order. Tony, I decided to next to pay somebody to do an LS swap for a 62 Impala, going with a carb 350 and bolting up to a slush-o-matic power glide. Dude, it's your best choice, man. You'll have fun with it. Trust me, it'll be more enjoyable overall. It'll have more personality.
And you can take all that money you were going to pay the guy and
go
get yourself some ice cream and be happy and all that kind of stuff.
Cornelius, if I want to change out my stock alternator on my 72 satellite with a Power Master alternator, are there any pros or cons? Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the stock alternator that's on there. The stock charging system that's on there works perfectly, right? Just make sure that all your connections. The biggest problem you have with those is connections at the bulkhead connector. Where the harness plugs into the firewall. Those connections get dirty, and they cause all kinds of charging system issues. Make sure that those connections are good, and just leave the stock stuff. You'll be fine with the stock stuff. Ashley Garcia wants to know who wants Chicken Joy from Jolly Bee. How Chicken Joy? What is that?
It sounds yummy.
It does sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken Joy.
You got to understand. I'm a Chinese. I love Chinese food.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Where I had the best Chinese food? When I lived in Dallas.
Really?
Oh yeah. Better than the West Coast. Better than Midwest. Better than any place. We'd have it 3 nights a week, and then we don't ever have it here, except maybe once every blue moon.
Oh, I don't know if it's Chinese. Wait. Chicken Joy Jollibee. Fried chicken. Oh, Jollibee's is it's a chain.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, so it's just like
are
Popeyes or
you
something.
trolling for? God bless you if you are. That's cool. I mean, you made me aware of a new type of chicken. I'm down with that.
72Z28, replace the passenger side pigtail on my XJ headlight because it was butchered now that the light is considerably brighter than the other side. Well, you know what you got to do. Clean up the other one.
Clean context makes so much difference. Yes.
Mm.
Okay. Jollibee is a Filipino chain that's like KFC. Thank you, Paul Bruno.
Okay, so when we go to the Philippines, we know where to get the chicken.
It sounded so Chinese, man.
Yeah.
Chicken Joy.
Chicken Joy. Yay!
Oh, yay, right?
Yay, there's rice and all kinds of good stuff in there. Yeah. Now people are talking about food. It's pork chop night with apple cider and brown sugar.
Rick Dalton, Nitro, injected Nitro. What type of nozzle spray or stream down nozzle or upstream? Thanks. Both, right? So your old school injected nitro motors, like if you go back to like the junior fuel days, right? And even like Pro Comp, when they were in A Fuel and Pro Comp, middle 70s and back, right? Actually late 70s and back. All they used was just a simple port nozzle, right? Just right under the butterfly of the injector, okay? Starting around 1986, 1987, the technology with nitro motors changed a little bit, right? The understanding of how nitro worked changed. And so they started adding what they called down nozzles. So if you were to take the valve covers off of a nitro motor, you would see that there's a fuel rail that runs just under the intake valves, okay? Fuel rail runs back and forth. The connection to the rest of the fuel system is at the back of the cylinder head, and it has a check valve, and that's the down nozzles. So an modern injected nitro motor does its low speed in idling, right? Like your burnouts and idling back up, right? And all of that on the port nozzles, which are considered to be like dribblers. And then go, right, when the throttle is open, the down nozzles. So the down nozzle is going to be two. There's going to be a pair of nozzles that shoot the nitro directly at the back face of the intake valve, which is the hottest part of the chamber. Now lightens it up. So that's where your biggest volume of fuel comes from. But here's the thing with injected nitro motors. They found was that if you take the fuel away, right? All right. So nowadays they use multi-stage clutches. So what they do is, as each stage of the clutch engages, extra fuel is sent into the chamber. Okay. As the load starts to diminish before the next phase comes in, they bring the amount of fuel back. And what that does is that raises the temperature in the combustion chamber. And so when the next phase comes in, when the next phase of the clutch comes in and the load increases, they send even more fuel down those down nozzles. And that's why if you watch an injected nitro car run at night, you'll see the flames go like this as it's going down the track. Because every time another phase, another tightening of the clutch happens, they add fuel and take it away, add fuel, take it away, add fuel, take it away. And that's how they make power with injected nitro these days. Did that make any sense? I hope that made sense. I Can Fly PPG. Please consider making a general stroker engine video. It would be an honor to hear your opinion. I think I've done it, bro. I think we've already done it. I've done videos, plenty of videos on engine geometry, and that falls under the heading of stroker. Like I'm not going to do a video just on stroker because stroker means nothing. It's literally an empty phrase. It's an empty word. But geometry, rod ratio, piston speed, rod ratio, the relationship between piston speed and rod ratio and camshaft timing. I've covered all of that stuff. So you could take those concepts and then just plug the word stroker in there and then figure out. Does that make any sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Tim Burns, we were only allowed one injector in the 80s. NHRA, well, okay, so what were you running in the 80s, Tim? What class? Rob's Classics. Check out David Vizard to learn engines. Yes, David is very, very intelligent. Don't look at me like that. He is. He's batshit crazy, but he's.
Well, it's funny you use the word batshit because he reminds me of Grandpa Munster.
He does remind me of Grandpa Munster. Yes.
He's a wealth of knowledge. He's just.
Yes.
And we love David, but he's hard to watch.
I have very high regard for David, his knowledge, and his accomplishments. He's batshit crazy. I'm looking to see the guy was only limited to one nozzle.
We're missing some stuff in the chat because.
Who was that guy? Tim Burns.
Right here, Tim Burns, yeah. Anyway, Chris, points to a voltage regulator on my 66 Tornado buzzes like a kazoo. Any thoughts on what's going on with the thing? Yeah, the coils that pull the little stops up and down are just getting weak, and it's just.
Yeah, time for another one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dean Stevenson is saying certain technology you cannot share with the free world. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Tim Burns, I was just saying factory stick cars. I don't even know what you're talking about. You asked me about Nitro.
Factory stick cars of one inject. I don't.
You know, you're talking about nitrous? Because I just went on a whole thing about injected nitro. I injected nitrous is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I apologize to anybody for the tangent I went off on.
Nitromethane, not nitrous.
That's why we've only got 92 likes.
Oh my God!
This is what I'm saying. It's like people don't. No, take it easy, Dr. Art. Take it easy. Don't take it personally, bro.
Oh, I've been wound up, as I've told you, so for weeks. So.
Sean 8806. Some technologies are good to the point where companies and governments will do anything to quash it and put it on the shelf or will never be used. And to that I say, nonsense. Nonsense. Okay?
Go ahead, get your boomer chair out for this one.
I've already talked about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've already talked about this stuff. The internal combustion engine, right, is global, right? Everywhere, all over the world, all right? we're very American-centric. So we think that everything that happens to us and only us. I mean, not just Western civilization, right? Period, right? But what people don't understand is like there are countries, there are regions, there are sections of the world out there, right, where there really is no effective government. It really doesn't exist. It's there, but in a very minimal way. Okay, and if there was any valuable information, if there was any hidden technology, those guys would be exploiting it, right? There would be people in countries that you can't even name, right?
You can't pronounce, but these people are just as smart as anybody.
Or smarter.
Because they're not involved. They don't watch TV for 17 hours a day.
Yes. So if there was a 100-mile-per-gallon carburetor, if there was some sort of miraculous thing, it would be common knowledge and commonly employed in all of these places where the government consists of like 7 people, you know what I mean? And just nobody cares what you do, right? There's lots and lots of places. I would actually say the vast majority of the world is like that, right?
Yeah.
It's nonsense, okay? It's nonsense. Hidden technology is bullshit. It's nonsense.
Because if some guy in Ijibubu came up with a flying car, he'd be flying that thing everywhere and it'd be all over everywhere.
Exactly. Now, I'm not saying that applies to every level of technology. I'm talking about what applies to grassroots level technology, like the internal combustion engine, which is in the hands of everybody all around the world. When you're talking about aircraft or weapons or hidden technology as far as that goes, yes, I'm sure there is. But when it comes to anything concerning an internal combustion engine, trust me when I tell you, it is completely and utterly impossible to hide technology. It just ain't going to happen.
Mr. Cabell's asking more questions again. Does a 5-liter Ford fit in the engine bay of a 3-liter Ford V6? Yes, it does. If you're looking to do a V8 Ranger swap, they're easy and fun.
I wonder why the factory ever did that. Well, the heater box.
Yeah. But, yeah, you just got to trim the heater box a little bit. But, yeah, build yourself a V8 Ford Ranger, even with a mild 302 in it. And it's just fun. And then you lower it, make it a little bit loud, and people look at you like, what the hell is that thing? And it goes fast and stops good. And yes, I've built half a dozen of them. Just regular street ones, not like the drag one that I have now. And they're a blast.
Rick Dalton. Nitro. Big caps. Injected nitro, stroke length, RPM versus torque. Small block Chevy rod ratio, Doug Nash 289 Bronco. All right, so yeah. Okay, Rick. I don't like nitro becomes really esoteric to most people that are on here, so I don't want to get like too into it. But you get under my skin anytime you talk nitro, so I have to answer that. Okay. Stroke, right? Stroke length, right? So forget about RPM, right? The important factor with any nitro motor is flame front, piston speed, piston deceleration rate, and exhaust valve opening point. So the shorter the rod ratio, okay? Short, I say short, I mean numerically. The shorter the rod ratio, the quicker you have to open the exhaust valve, okay, to start evacuation. Because the shorter the rod ratio means that your piston deceleration rate is greater. So from 90 degrees past to 180 past, the piston decelerates greater than it does with a longer rod ratio or a higher number, okay? So what happens is you run into a deal where the piston is decelerating so quickly that the flame front crashes against it and you end up with bottom hole detonation. So basically, the longer the stroke compared to the rod, right? So a rod ratio, let's say, of so I calculated out years ago, 1.57 is the ideal rod ratio for 426 Hemi because of its evacuation characteristics. A small block Chevy is a little bit different. But 1.57 is the ideal rod ratio for a 426 Hemi. But the thing that you run into is piston deceleration rate from 90 to, so, which is something that you never encounter with a gasoline engine. This is what makes nitro motors so perplexing. It's also why they make power the way they do, okay? Because you're actually making power after the exhaust valve opens. The exhaust valve is open just a little tiny bit, but the flame front is still pushing actively against the piston. That's where the power comes from. So the shorter the rod ratio, the quicker the deceleration rate, you end up with a clash towards the bottom of the stroke where the piston just wants to stop and the flame front wants to keep going, and you get bottom hole detonation. This is where the most damage happens on a nitro motor. So you have to initiate the exhaust valve opening sequence earlier with that. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? You need lots of evacuation at bottom stroke. That's
Open the exhaust valve right as the piston gets to the bottom.
no. You open it. You start opening the exhaust valve
Before it gets to the bottom?
Yeah, before you get to the bottom, you start opening the exhaust valve just about
10 degrees
60
before the
degrees
bottom?
past top dead center.
Oh, really?
You start cracking it open, right? And it just depends now on, so nitro cams are standardized, okay? So back when they were running, let's say, stock stroke to half-inch stroke engines, you had a standardized cam that opened the exhaust valve at a certain point. When they went to the 5/8 stroke engines, things started to change a little bit. So they had to open the exhaust valve a little bit sooner to keep the thing out of bottom hole detonation. Then they went to the 3/4 stroke, which is a whole different animal. And at that point, you're starting to open the exhaust valve like way early, because the volume of fuel and the volume of the amount of combustion pressure that's happening there
Doesn't matter.
if the valve's open. It doesn't care. It's just going to make the power.
So as soon as the piston starts coming back down, the exhaust valve's open?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's one here. Bob's Chop Shop. He asked what was the best kind of 302 and automatic to find if you're looking in a junkyard. Okay, for these radiator swaps. Okay, I'm going to tell you this, and please listen because this shit's very important. You're going to look for a 97 or 98 Ford Mercury Mountaineer Explorer. Preferably if you can get a two-wheel drive one, if you're doing a two-wheel drive Ranger swap. Because if you're swapping it into a 96 and up Ranger, the computer, the harness, and everything interchanges. It's almost a drop-in swap. And then you get your V8 overdrive. You take the rear end out of that Explorer also, which is four-wheel disc, and I know we're good disc brakes, but then you have a four-wheel disc overdrive V8 Ranger with air conditioning and cruise control and computer control. You switch one wire behind the dash with a tachometer, and it reads like a V8. And it's the easiest way to swap. And you buy the swap kit for that, appropriate your Ranger, the motor mounts, and use the factory headers, and that thing will run like a rape date because you're taking 1,200 pounds from what it's used to pushing away, and you drop it down a little bit, and then you have like a 373 or 410 factory gear in the back. You can put a nice tire on it. It's got overdrive. You put a nice dual exhaust on it. It's beautiful. And then the last one I did had glass packs on it. It was dropped super low, and people would pull it next to me and they'd be like, "What the hell?" And I'd just be like, "Whoa!" And then you blow past like BMWs on the freeway and stuff like that, and they're like, "What the hell is that? What's that thing?" But that's the best thing if you're looking to do a 302 swap is find those. They're kind of hen's teeth now because they're getting old. But if you can find yourself a 97 or 98 Explorer, Mercury Mountaineer, two-wheel drive, everything comes out and everything goes back into that Ranger. Even the trans mount's the same. So you can use the stock shifter, you can use all the stock gauges. You don't have to change anything on the interior. You don't have to move, cut walls, nothing. Just you got to take a little nick out of that heater box, but you can still have your AC and everything else. It's beautiful. Now that I've rambled on about it.
That's good stuff. King Shiloh, would you retard timing when adding boost?
Yes.
Automatically. That's just a given.
Yes, you have to. Otherwise, bad things happen.
Bob's Chop Shop. I was actually meaning older 302 something I can make look traditional with a carburetor or carburetors on it for my 56 Mercury truck.
You could take that. You could still take that same setup, and then just take the fuel injection off of it and throw a 302 manifold on it with your carburetors, and take out that sync distributor and pop in a regular distributor. Then you'd have a nice P-headed and roller cam and overdrive and everything else.
Steve Austin, what about a super high static compression ratio and a late closing intake valve for fuel economy? That's Miller cycle, isn't it? Isn't that a Miller cycle?
Yeah. The Mazdas had those in their regular cars for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they advertised it like, ooh, the new thing, but it was just valve.
Yeah, those engines used to eat themselves alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Zach Stoddard. Hey, Tony and Art. Do you guys have any advice for getting rid of old car windshield haze? 81 El Camino with original windshield, the haze is terrible. That's called delamination.
And then all you do is you call your windshield guy and have him pop a new one in for a couple $100, and
Yeah, that happens eventually to like pretty much all the windshields. So a windshield is made out of two pieces of glass that is sandwiched with a piece of plastic in between. Or basically, the windshield is a plastic sandwich. So you got your bottom piece of glass, your plastic, and your top piece.
Glass is your bread that meets the plastic, and that's why it's safety glass.
Right, that's what makes it safety glass. Well, no, safety glass breaks into chunks.
Yeah, but it's
a different. What do they call it now? There's a different word for it when it's a windshield.
Impact glass, or it's something. But it's a safety thing. So you don't hit a rock and your windshield shatters into your eyes. Yeah.
So, but that's what's happening to your windshield, man, and there's nothing you can do. Oh yeah, all right, yeah, that's tempered glass.
Tempered glass. Yeah. Mazda Millennia. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Yep. It was supposed to be this great thing. They just put a little supercharger on it to keep the pressure up in the intake, and this is the new way, and they all went away and quickly.
Ultimate Massive is saying aircraft have heater elements sandwiched between the glass on the windshields for anti-ice. Lots of problems. Okay, I didn't know that. See. Yeah, that's what you feared. How's that? Yeah, man. Well, at least on the bright side, it's a cheap windshield. I bet you call any glass guy.
Yeah, for a G body. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many do you want? Yeah, it's $250 installed. We do it tomorrow. Scoop says we can have a bonfire made out of giant stacks of Yugos and Geo Metros, but the best bonfire is that you take a Volkswagen engine case, the magnesium case. And once that thing goes, you're in the middle of the desert. That thing lights up the whole desert for hours. It's fantastic.
Recipe to derelicts. Our early days of supercharged engines range. Well, what was that? Early days of supercharged engines. The supercharger mounted directly to the cranks. Now, yes, that was common until around 1962, 61, 62. The problem with that is the overdrive. You can't really overdrive the blower effectively. Craig Simpson, thank you for the super chat. Best way to cut braided gas hose: wrap it in tape, right? So what you do is,
I use black electrical tape.
Yeah, you could use black electrical tape, duct tape, whatever you want to use, right? Wrap it really tight, give it a couple of loops, and then you need like a sharp hacksaw, right? And then just blow right through it. The tape keeps it from fraying.
I use a cutoff tool.
Well, you can use a cutoff tool. The problem with the cutoff tool though is it melts some of the stuff on the inside, and then you got to be really careful cleaning it out. But with the hacksaw,
it's a little bit colder.
Yeah.
Okay. See a top tip. I did it the lazy way. Don't do it my way.
Well, I've done it your way too. You, Jordan, Tony, mentioned you own 3 Harleys. What are they? I have an 02 883R. I've got a 99 Sportster Custom, and I've got a Buell Ulysses, a 1200 X Buell Ulysses. Yes, I am a Sportster guy. I'm not a Harley guy. I really don't like Harleys in general, but I love Sportsters. Wrap in the tape and use a whiz wheel. Well, you see, the whiz wheel again makes heat, and then you end up like
A little bit of melty hose on
Yeah.
the inside. Yeah, you got to be careful when you put your connectors on there and everything.
King Shiloh. What was the best engine you have worked on? What's the best engine you've worked on?
You know, I hate to say it, but probably a small block Chevy because they're so easy. You know, you don't have 75 bolts for your water pump. You got, heads. Well, if everything comes off easy, there's millions of them. You know, the geometry makes sense, and they're kind of like a Lego. So, yeah, that's probably like the easiest. I don't know about best or gold standard or whatever, but like the easiest thing to do cam swaps and intakes and put there's a small block Chevy.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be a toss between a small block Chevy and a small block and the big block Mopar. Big block Mopar is so easy to work with. Just the intake manifold swaps where it's like
It's dry intake, yeah.
It's wonderful to never have to buy an intake manifold gasket. You know what I mean? It's like it's permanent. Once it's on there, you swap it. You can swap 100 different manifolds onto it, and you never have to change it. There's no water passages or anything like that. You don't have to mess with the distributor. Shaft-mounted rockers. So I would say that the big block Mopar is probably the best engine I've ever worked with. But I've done so many small block Chevys, I can literally do them with my eyes closed.
David Perez, UT, what's up, old man? Is he your buddy?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm old. Maybe he's talking to you, man.
No, he said you.
How do you know that?
Because he said
you're the one with gray hair.
He said, UT, what's up, old man? He didn't say, Art, what's up, old man?
All right, fine.
And you are older than I am. I just turned 57 and you're like...
You're a child.
Yes.
You, Jordan. I'm into older Harleys. I have a couple of iron heads in my daily as a shovel. And honestly, bro, my heart is with iron heads. But I've gotten to the point, man, I Evos, right? Let me tell you something. You go back like 20 years ago, okay? And I was like, see no Evo, hear no Evo, speak no Evo, right? And now it's like, yeah, man, Evos are just, they won me. You know what I mean? They won me. But my heart is with iron heads. Zero jailbird hand rolled cigarettes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Trina Lee, Tony, I know you said you're done with Nitro, but maybe a little 871 on anything? No. No, those days are over. Those days are over. The thing with Nitro, right, is that it is literally all encompassing. Like you can't just put your finger in it and just play with it a little bit. It's either you devote your entire existence to it or you do nothing with it at all. And I did that for 12 years, man. All I did, that was it. I woke up in the morning and I went to sleep at night. And the first thought I had in my head was Nitro, and the last thought I had in my head when I went to sleep was Nitro, and everything I did in the middle, of the day had to do with Nitro, one aspect of it or another, and that was 12 freaking years of my life, and I'm just so done, so done. Raven Cabral, she's saying everything is understandable when gray hair enters your head.
Mm.
You know, there's a lot to that.
I've been understanding shit since I was 25. That's when it started.
There's a lot to that, man. Mark Survey, I heard that for a while Nitro engines ran a shorter rod on 2 cylinders. Forgot which. It wasn't so much a shorter rod, but on the Chevy motors, right? When they were playing with Chevy motors, you know, big block Chevys on Nitro. Number 7 and 8, they would lower the compression ratio on them, and it wasn't. I don't believe they did rods. The rods were, generally speaking, probably the rods were the same length, but they used lower compression pistons on 7 and 8. Those are the troubled cylinders on a Chevy, and the trouble cylinder on a Chrysler is 6.
As we read in silence.
What's that?
As we read in silence.
Yes. You join us, and his friend has an 883R, and he's done some crazy stuff to his that flies. I'm restoring mine, and I've got the Buell. You know, the Buell's 103 freaking horsepower. If I want a rockin' Sportster, well, there it is. Okay. So my 883R, I'm trying to restore it. I want to bring that bike to just dead stock factory. And oddly enough, funny coincidence, just today I went to the dealer. I was driving past a Harley dealer, and he says, you know what? Let me pop in there for a second, because I was thinking about my 883R because I got for a ride last night, and I want to get a new old stock exhaust system for it. It has an aftermarket 2-in-1 on it, and the factory had a chrome 2-in-1, and I can't get it through. It's obsolete through Harley Davidson. So I'm actually looking for an NOS exhaust system for that bike. It's got a Dan Moto 2-in-1. It is okay. It sounds okay, but I really want the stock factory exhaust for it. Raymond Cabal, Nitro was dangerous if you were unlucky to catch a snootful. Are you serious? What planet are you on? Are you kidding me? No, it's not dangerous, even a little bit. It'll make your eyes water, but there's nothing dangerous about it. Go talk to the Greek who's like 100 and something friggin' years old, or Big who's like 92, 93 years old. How bad nitro is to breathe in.
When they breathed it in for 30 years, yeah.
30 years, try it again.
Yeah.
70 years.
Rob's riding streetcars. Hello. I'm going to run a dual quad in my stock. Okay, Peter Gray. Hey, UT, I really want to run dual quads on my stock Poly 318. What chance would I have doing this without rebuilding, boring out the motor, adding a cam, headers? Is it worth the extra money, trouble?
Just use the factory. Go find. They're out there. I see them on eBay all the time.
Yeah.
Kiwi picked one up. They use the factory 318, and it comes with a pair of WCFB carburetors. These WCFB carburetors, you can use a pair of like small Edelbrocks on them. But yeah, no, they had dual quads from the factory in 1858.
King Shiloh, how much boost do you think a small block 305 can hold? Just, I mean, once, or, if you want it to live 10 pounds, one time, maybe, 22 before everything, shoots out the bottom of the oil pan.
So the limit of any engine to what it will take is based on detonation. Okay. So if you can create, let's say you got a stock 305, right? And you're gonna make 2,000 horsepower with it. If you can make that 2,000 horsepower without ever seeing any detonation loads, any periods of detonation, it'll run like that forever. Okay, literally forever. The problem is once you get into higher horsepower, boost and stuff like that, periods of detonation, right, through the range that may not even be really perceptible to you as detonation, but the engine sees it, and that's what cracks parts. It's the detonation, right? So it really depends on your combination. If you go back to, again, let's go back to the old days of Top Fuel, okay? when they're running stock block 426 Hemis. Like just they go out and steal cars and grab the motor and set them up for. That's what you look at anybody who ran blown Nitro back in the 60s. Right? They didn't have a factory deal. They were attached to a chop shop. So those guys would run a completely stock motor. Ones with conservative tune-ups, you've been making 2,000 horsepower with it. Ones with conservative tune-ups could run that same block all year long. And then ones with aggressive tune-ups would get 2 runs out of a block, 3 runs out of a block before we crack the mains. So it really depends on the tune-up, not the power level, but how that power is being produced. Your turn.
Okay.
I have to sit back for a second.
Okay. Well, it's for you, but I'll read through. Do you know anything about this General Buick Le Mans race car? I've never heard of it.
He keeps mentioning that, and I've never heard of it. Tojihiro. Okay.
Okay.
So
You look at it.
That.
Okay.
I'm going to look this up.
Yeah.
Can you spell that for me?
Sure. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Tojeiro. Buick.
Buick. Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. Looks like a crazy GT40, right?
Yeah, Daytona Coupe or something. Yeah. That's cool.
Okay. So that's the car he's talking about. Enigmatic Buick race car. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, I've never heard of it, and I'm gonna look into that. That's very cool. I imagine they used a smaller nail head than that. Yeah, I'll check it out later.
And Hugh Jorgen, the AMF thing is a myth. AMF saved Harley. They retooled them, built them a new plant, spent tons of money on R&D, and my shovel is the most reliable Harley I've ever owned. It doesn't leak oil.
It's hit and miss, man. I've had a bunch of fucking cars, or bikes rather, from the AMF era, and it really is hit and miss.
That was more who put it together than.
Yeah, there's very little consistency with those bikes. I disagree with anybody who automatically disses the AMF era, because I agree with you, they saved it, right? But by the same token, I've had some sketchy AMF era stuff.
Boomer, Dr. Art, do you have any videos to check for clogged cats? No, you could just pull them down and look inside. And if it looks like a honeycomb, it's good. If it looks like a big block of cheese, it's, time for a new one. Or, just forget about it if you live in such a situation where you can do that.
Peter Gray, follow-up. What size CFM carb would you recommend to match what they used in the 50s for a dual quad setup on the stock Poly 318? I have 2 600 CFM Edelbrocks. Those are probably going to be big for a Poly 318. Yeah.
One's plenty for a Poly 318, yeah.
Yeah, those small WCFBs were like 475 CFM or thereabouts. Yeah, 2 of them might be a bit rough. There might be the Edelbrock does make us. I know it's going to cost some money, right? But how much do you want to? How much do you really want this? Edelbrock makes a matched set of 500 CFM carburetors specifically for dual quads. So they're already calibrated, they're already set up to run as dual quads. So if I was bent on running a pair of dual quads on a pair of dual quads, if I was bent on running dual quads on a poly head, I would be looking for those 500 CFM Edelbrocks, the matched ones. 104 Speed Shop, do I need to cut down the guides on 318 heads from 48 purple shit cam? No, you do not.
Nope.
You're good to about 5.25 to 550 thousandths left.
It seems we get that the same
question all the time.
And then it goes away, then you get, yeah.
AD Cobra Guy, do you guys think an expensive fluid damper would help an unbalanced engine? No.
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 No, it's no.
No, actually.
You're just going to help the people at fluid dampener. Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? If the motor is really imbalanced, the fluid damper is just going to make it even more imbalanced.
Yeah.
Because it's going to upset the flow of fluid. It's going to upset the balance of fluid inside. The purpose of a fluid damper is to suck up harmonics, right? Fine vibrations that are happening as just normal cycling. Okay, and that's what a fluid damper is going to do. If you try to use it to balance an unbalanced engine, you'll only aggravate the imbalance because the fluid in the damper is going to go to that. You see what I'm saying? Not good.
Yeah, it's like putting the weights on the wrong end of a
Right.
on a ball tire. Yeah. I have never used a fluid dampener.
I haven't either.
I've never seen the cause for it.
Zero is saying find your balance. Be the balance, Zero, within the balance of the balance. Yeah. John Car Willie, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing, brother? You went Mopar, sort of, 310,000-mile minivan. Bracket racer? Yes.
Yes.
Perfect bracket racer.
Yeah, it's worn in.
Be the balance. Neglect the shroud. Be the balance. Reject the shroud.
Have you ever guys tried running transmission through a fluid engine for any reason?
Yes. I currently have, I'll do a video on this at some point. I currently have 2 quarts of training fluid in my red, not Mission Improbable, but my red regular XJ, because I've got an oiling issue to the top end of the engine. So before I tore it apart, I says, well, let me just see what happens. So there's 2 quarts of ATF and a quart of Marvel Mystery Oil in there right now. And it's either going to trash the motor or it's going to break loose whatever
crudge and cringe is.
Yeah.
The greasy, grimy gopher guts of an inside of a Jeep engine.
John Carwillie, oh, you're always in here. Okay. Just watch on TV at night.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, brother. King Silo, when doing blow-through carb setup, do you remove the check valve in an Edelbrock? Check valve.
I've never seen anyone use an Edelbrock successfully on blow-through.
Oh, I've never set one up, but I'm trying to picture what he means by check valve.
Like the vacuum reference in the bottom, maybe that's what he's talking about.
There's a check ball for the accelerator pump. I couldn't give you any. The only blow-through carburetor I ever set up, and I've only done one, was a Holly. Moparman 78, if you're going to use transmission fluid to clean out the engine, only let it idle. Don't rev it or drive it, and then drain out to replace filter. You are absolutely correct, Moparman, and that is the advice that I would give everybody. I, on the other hand, have been hammering the living snot out of this thing, blasting it up and down the interstate, full throttle in second gear at valve float to try to get it to like start sending oil to the top end again. Because at this point, I'm like, I don't care. If I have to drop the pan and pull the head and do an in-car rebuild, I will do it. But yes, you are absolutely right. But I have been utterly and completely brutalizing this thing, literally trying to blow it up with those 2 quarts of training fluid and 1 quart of Marvel Mystery Oil in there. And then Fubar put up the link to my merch again.
Nice.
Thank you, Fubar. I always reach for the wrong side because I don't see there's a mirror image of what I'm. Yes, there it is. Yes, my merch. Yes, you can have these shirts for a cheap price.
Mm-hmm.
And you have merch.
Kathy built an incredible website for you.
She did.
You get
Fubar
hats
just put up.
and things, and you could have this.
Look at
exact
this
shirt.
with the big Richard. You can have that for
Yeah.
money.
For money. Send me very little money, and I'll send you one in the mail. Go to the website.
Russ Peter Jones, I remember seeing a pressure pass-out thing for blow-through setup that was enclosed the entire car. Yes, that was a very common thing. Actually, the like for instance, the Mr. Norms, the GSS Dusters or Dart Sports, no Demons had that.
The Paxton Superchargers.
The
that's
Paxton
way they used to
Superchargers,
do it.
yes.
Yeah.
They just put run in boost reference this and no, stick the whole damn thing in a box.
Pressurize the whole box.
Yep. Mopar Man, I know it was aimed at you, Justin. It was yes, and you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. That's great advice. Absolutely. Jeff Hudson saying run brake cleaner instead of oil in a 4 liter. I don't know what's wrong with it, but what happens is it started chirping. I thought it was a belt chirp at first, but it's not a belt chirp. It's coming from under the valve cover. One of the rockers or two of the rockers aren't getting any oil up to the top end. And so it's just the rockers chirping against the, yeah. But there's no lift or noise. It's not collapsed. So either the push rod is clogged or the oil passage in the lifter that sends oil to the push rod is clogged. One of those two. The problem is to get to the lifters on that engine, you got to pull the cylinder head. Judge Fett, ever have the dreaded double seal on an oil filter? Never felt that in my life. Yes, we all make that mistake at least once.
At least once.
Right.
Yeah. It's always when you're in a hurry.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a new shirt on today. Let's see what we can do.
Billy Bob Holcomb, fuel pump should be matched to the boost pressure on a boost referenced.
Yeah, boost reference fuel pressure regulator. Yes, there's some old ways where they could crutch the vent valve on a mechanical thing to boost up the pressure, but that's not super reliable, and it's kind of a stopgap for putting the.
Well, if you use a mechanical fuel pump, you're gonna so what I did with that supercharged slant 6 that I built was I just took a barbed fitting out of a carburetor, and I JB welded it into the vent
to the
hole
vent in the
top
vent,
right.
the atmosphere hole.
Yeah, and then I ran a vacuum line from that to
the manifold so you could boost reference the fuel pump. Yeah.
And it worked great.
Yeah.
Peter Abate, good night.
Tim Miller's used Lycra thinner in his Explorer to make the lifters go quiet.
That might be next. That might be next. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and pull ahead. I know. Russ Peter Derelicts, working in a speed shop, having to explain to someone why adding headers to a 283 does not now need an 850 Holly. Don't buy any wooden lifters. Good. Yes.
Taco is a sandwich, but tacos are better. Okay.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think I ate today. I'm starving.
I was thinking about that too. I'm like, you're talking about tacos. I'm a little hungry. Stop on the way home.
Oh yeah, I know. I did. I went to Mexican today. I had a
which Mexican?
What's the name of the place? The chain. They're all over. It's not a chain. It's a local. They got like 5 or 6. Camino Real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had the Hawaiian burrito.
Pineapples or something.
Oh, it's delicious. Well, okay. I have them make it with no steak, no shrimp, because they put shrimp in there, and no beans, because beans just pissed me off. I mean, you want to see me set off, you want to see me rage, put beans in my food, okay?
Okay.
Right. So
I get it.
So what I end up with is fajita chicken with rice, right, wrapped in the burrito, okay,
Mhm.
with chorizo over the top. They cover it right, front to back with that. Then pineapple over that, and then cheese sauce. The whole thing swims in cheese sauce.
And with the chicken and rice, there's no peppers or onions in there.
No,
Oh, see, that's perfect.
yeah, it's delicious. It's like candy. So that's what I had for dinner.
I'm hungry now. Damn it. Mhm.
King Shiloh, can you use a mechanical fuel pump for
Yeah.
blow through? Yes, which we were just talking about.
Yeah, it's called the Crutch. If you go to the Turbo forums, it's been around for 25 years. And type in the word Crutch, and you'll get 5,000 articles on how to do it.
There you go.
Turbo forums. It's everything you ever want to know about turbocharging an engine from the 80s up until today. That forum's been around for that long.
Raymond Cabello, no bean, Uncle Tony. Beans make me furious. Okay? I'm not lying about that. I'm serious. They make me furious.
Oh, that's like when they put green pepper and onions in it. When you tell them, look, I want a pork burrito with cheese and rice.
Yes.
That's all I want in it.
Simple.
Simple.
So
You can put cheese on top. You can do whatever. Don't put any frickin' peppers. There are no frickin' onions with my pork.
The best Mexican food is the simplest Mexican food.
Yes.
And I'm really convinced now Mexican food is the perfect food. I've just come to really love it. But beans, sticking freaking beans at my food, man.
It's like filler. Yeah, it's no good.
Mr. Wrench Mueller, why did Dodge build two different Dodge Dart body styles in the same years throughout the early to mid 70s? They did not. They in 73 they started calling the Demon the Dart Sport. That's it, right? That's the only difference. So that's a Duster body car with a Dodge Dart nose, and they call them both Darts. But other than that, no. The Dart came in a 2-door, a 4-door, or that Dart Sport. Same car. Firefly, beans are a great source of protein. Not for me, man. You know, meat is a great source of protein. See, I like baked beans, but by themselves. Like I don't want them in anything, but I can enjoy eating a baked beans every once in a while. But no, don't put them in my freaking food.
Don't put
The beans are not an ingredient.
They're side dish.
Yes. The guy must have money to burn. Which guy?
Yeah. Show us the guy with money to burn.
Dennis Gallagher, I like chili. I like chili too, but no beans.
No beans. Texas,
No beans.
Texas chili with no beans. Yeah.
Kathy makes me chili, no beans.
And you take the chili, okay? It's in the pot. You get a bowl and you slam down a bunch of chili cheese Fritos in the bowl. Then you put the chili on top and then some shredded cheese and some sour cream.
No sour cream. Not for me.
You'll eat ice cream, but not sour cream. Anyway, it's the same shit. But anyway, that's the way to be it. Chili, yeah. No beans chili with Fritos and extra cheese on top. Happy.
I have Kathy make me pasta fazool with no beans. So fazool is beans.
Pasta.
Yeah. It has everything else that's in there, but no, leave the beans out.
Hugh Jordan, my first car was a 60s Valiant wagon with a leaning tower of power. We eventually cut the top off and used it as a truck around the farm.
Oh, the guy washing his rings out with an 850 Holly and a 383 is
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we eat peroxides with sour cream?
Yeah, try not to.
What's a peroxide?
I don't know. It's what makes women's hair blonde. Yeah, that's all I know what peroxide is.
What's that?
Mopar Man 1978. I found that if I eat a can of chili, canned chili with beans, I have enough painful smaller gas to fill up the Hindenburg. But to make my own.
Thanks for sharing
two
that.
cans. Yeah. Pinto beans, no gas.
Pierogies. Okay.
Pierogies are fantastic. You know what those are. It's kind of like
it's like a potato pasta, right? Potato-based pasta.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
What Russ said. Okay. Waffle, the worst recipe I found was spam and lima beans.
Ooh.
Ultimate Massive. Any decent Polish restaurants in Nashville? I don't know.
We argue about this, but I don't think there's any decent restaurants in Nashville. There's a couple Italian places and stuff like that have been to.
There's steakhouses that are legendary and shit. There's lots of. Nashville's a foodie paradise. Anything you can want, you can.
I know, but it's not. You can go to other parts of the country and get better food and you don't have to be downtown somewhere and pay too much.
Well, that's true. Nods Nation changed the carburetor to a 1406, and now it stalls when I give it a bit of beans. But if I caress the throttle gently, it drives just fine. Fuel pressure is 4.5. It sounds like accelerator pump. Like
he gets weak.
Yeah. Check your accelerator pump.
Mm-hmm.
Does Nashville have any Moroccan restaurants? I'm certain that it does because I know I've seen, but I've never been to one. They blew up my favorite place in Nashville a few years ago.
Oh, when that guy tried to blow up AT&T.
Yeah. Well, directly his RV was parked in front of Rodizio's.
Oh.
Yeah, he blew up my favorite restaurant.
I
had just eaten there like 3 days before.
Dirty bastard. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that killed me. Clayton's Toolbox. Hello, Clayton's Toolbox. We're just on our way out, bro.
Yeah.
Nice for you to come by, though.
It is. We appreciate each and every one of you. Olive's here too. You haven't said hi to Olive all night.
I didn't. Oh, Olive. Hello, Olive. I'm sorry if I didn't. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Let's see. Do Moroccan restaurant on Friday or Saturday night. They may have belly dancer. Dude, that's cannibalism. I can't condone that. I can't, even if she's tender. I don't care.
Belly dancer on a platter.
It's just wrong. It's just wrong. UT, what was your first car? A 66 Charger. And then a 69 Charger. Let's see. Truly tender belly dancer. Well, I would think a belly dancer might be kind of tough and stringy.
Yeah, because she's muscly.
Yeah. That's going to be all dark meat. Oh, he said it's a band name.
Oh. Granddad Junk. all the way from New Zealand. He takes a lot of time to come over here and watch us talk about nonsense.
Barracuda is late.
Mm.
All right. I think we need to start wrapping it up.
Yeah, we've done our time tonight.
We've put in our time.
Our community service, we get to stamp. Maybe we'll be.
Yes.
Our parole officer will be very happy with us in the 2 hours that we've done.
I had to do community service when I first moved here. I got arrested for shooting up some trucks, and I had to do community. That's a long story.
I haven't heard that one, so
Yeah, I'll tell you some
save
other
it.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had to do community service at the Oakland's mansion.
My wife volunteers there.
Really? I
Yeah.
did community service there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we end up going there 4 or 5 times a year for this event and that event and stuff like that.
All right. It was when I first moved here. All right. So I'm done. I'm just done.
Done.
Yeah.
So,
No,
okay, I'll do your part. Okay.
go ahead. You be me.
Okay. Appreciate each and every one of you. Super chat's always appreciated, never expected. Always appreciated. We have the best mods in the world. You can name them: Mexican Spec, Fubar, Zero.
Not necessarily in that order.
No,
They're
just
interchangeably
it's
awesome.
just a random order.
Yeah.
It means nothing. And then, so Tony, what do you got going?
No. I always tell everybody contributed with just your presence and your conversation.
That's right.
Thank you equally for the people who contribute with Super Chat. Thank you equally. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we are eternally grateful for you allowing us to do this.
Because we can't do it without you. No
Right.
matter how hard we try, we sit here in front of a blank screen.
Yes.
YouTube gives us no money for no audience.
So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much. And thank you, Brandon. Yeah, there is going to be more 318 stuff coming. After I clean his clock with Bottle Rocket, we're going to start on the new motor for it. So that's it, guys. Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. You're going to be on Monday night.
Monday night will be Monday Night Live. The website's new and fresh. It actually works now, so go there and buy some stuff.
Yes.
And maybe I'll do a video this week even. It's been a while because I've been out of town sick, and the case of I don't give a hoot is high in the holler right now.
It happens. I wish I could do that. I can't take any time.
But I got some stuff planned, and I should be driving that silly truck here out of the garage here any day now. So,
well, something to definitely look forward to.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it, guys. I think Friday night, I'm not taking Sledgehammer. Friday night, we're taking Mission Improbable out to the track, see what's going on. And then next week, we're going to take Sledgehammer.
Yeah, because the week after is supposed to be like 15 degrees cooler from what they're saying right now.
Well, that's when I have to go out ET Jamie. So I need the weather for.
Yeah, the weather would be good.
Sledgehammer.
Yeah, not this Friday, next week. Next week Friday.
Right. That's it, guys. We're pulling a plug.
We're out.
Thank you again.
Bye.
And I'm going to hit this button, and then I'm going to hit that button. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.